Okay, so if you're a creator, I'm willing to bet you've heard this a million times. You've got to be original. But what if I told you the real secret to breaking through isn't about creating something totally new, but about flipping what everyone thinks they already know on its head? Yeah, let's get into it.
I can almost hear you through the screen. Stop making original content? That sounds insane, right? It feels like blasphemy for a creator. It goes against everything we've ever been taught. So what's the deal? Is this just a cheap trick to get you to listen? Or is there actually something real here?
And that right there, that's the big question we're going to unpack. Is this whole idea just a content creator's worst nightmare dressed up as advice? Or is it a secret weapon? A genuinely powerful strategy that could get you way more attention, way more impact, than just trying to pull the next big thing out of thin air?
You know the feeling. We are all chasing that lightning in a bottle idea, that one stroke of genius that's going to make us stand out. But man, let's be real for a second. It is exhausting. It's a grind. So what if there's a smarter, more strategic way to make content that actually connects with people?
Well, there is, and that smarter way, it has a name. It's called the inverse strategy. So let's break down exactly what this is and, more importantly, why it works so well.
So the core idea here is actually pretty simple. Instead of just adding your voice to the chorus of everyone saying the same thing, you challenge the song itself. You find that piece of common wisdom, that best practice everyone just accepts without thinking, and you're the one who stops and asks, wait a minute, is this really the best way?
And this really breaks down the shift in thinking. On one side, you've got the old way, the originality focus. That's a tough uphill battle, right? You're basically trying to start a party from scratch. But on the other side, with the inverse strategy, you're not starting a new conversation. You're walking into an existing one with a totally new, disruptive take. It's all about working smarter, not just harder.
Okay, that makes sense. But why is challenging a belief so darn powerful? What's going on inside our brains that literally makes us stop in our tracks and pay attention? Well, it all boils down to two really key psychological triggers. Let's talk about the first one. It's called negative urgency. And trust me, it is incredibly powerful.
Okay, so what is it? Think of it like this. Imagine you are a total coffee fanatic. You've got your whole morning ritual down, and then someone tells you, hey, that fancy brewing method you love, it's actually making your coffee taste worse. Oof, you feel that little jolt of discomfort, that wait, what feeling? That's negative urgency. You just have to find out if they're right.
You've basically just rung a mental alarm bell for your audience. And here's the thing about alarm bells, you can't just ignore them. They now have this pressing need to figure out if you're right, and more importantly, if they've been doing it wrong this whole time.
But just ringing the alarm isn't enough, right? That's only half the battle. You have to keep their attention, and that is where our second trigger comes into play, the curiosity gap.
So if negative urgency is pointing out a problem they didn't know they had, the curiosity gap is promising them the solution. You've basically opened up this void between what they know and what they desperately want to know. And humans, we hate leaving those gaps open.
Yeah, another way to think about it is this. You've created an itch that the viewer just has to scratch. You created the itch by challenging their belief, and now you're holding the only back scratcher in the room. They are absolutely hooked.
So, you see how these two things work together like a perfect 1-2 punch? Negative urgency is the hook. It's that pattern interrupt that stops the scroll. Then, the curiosity gap is what reels them in, holding their attention because they need to hear your answer. It's just a ridiculously potent combo for keeping people engaged. All right, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually, do it? Let's get practical. I'm going to walk you through a super simple, actionable playbook so you can start putting this inverse strategy into practice like today.
Okay, it really comes down to a simple 3-step process. Step 1, identify a common belief. Think about your niche. What does everyone just assume is true? So, for example, in fitness, a super common belief is that you need to do hours and hours of cardio to lose weight. Got it? Okay. Step 2, create that negative urgency. Challenge that belief head on. A title like, Why Hours of Cardio Are Actually Sabotaging Your Weight Loss. See? Instant urgency. And finally, step 3, open a curiosity gap. You do that by promising a better way, just add "and the one thing you should do instead" to your title. Boom, you've got them.
So, I'm going to leave you with a little homework, a question to chew on. Instead of trying to rack your brain for some completely brand new original idea, I want you to look at the ideas that are already all around you. What's one truth that your audience absolutely believes,
that you could challenge tomorrow. Find that piece of common advice, that best practice everyone just nods along to, and ask yourself, is that really the whole story? Because the answer to that question might just be your next big hit.